Breaking news, U.S. and coalition forces hit more than 60 targets at 16 Houthi militant locations in Yemen tonight. That according to U.S. Air Force's Central Commander. I want to dive in now with CNN political commentator Karen Finney. Also here is Mike Leon, host of the Can We Please Talk podcast. So, Mike, can we please talk for a second about that? You know, it's very I like it. Can we please talk? Let me ask you both. There's already a lot of pressure mounting even tonight when it comes to the decision to have launched these strikes. You have a number of some progressive House Democrats who are pushing back. There was no congressional approval. This is already one of several different wars or several different military actions we are involved in. What do you say about the impact on Biden's decision?
Well, look, I think the situation clearly, just from what we know so far, was getting out of control in terms of the attacks, the issues around some of the shipping routes and the danger. And look, I think, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, in his trip, was actually trying to say, let's not let this get out of control. Let's not let this spread. Obviously, it seems that that was not going to be an option. Unfortunately. And I think the president had to take decisive action and particularly having built a coalition. I think that's the other important factor here, that other countries were engaged in this action with us.
Yeah, you think about it. We obviously an election year. I'm sure you guys realize. Here we are, really? 299. I know it's a surprising thing. 299 days away. You think about it. He's going to be the commander-in-chief, right? That's one of those ones with the commander-in-chief, and part of that role. It's not just kissing babies and going to pancake breakfast and pardoning turkeys. There's a lot to the president of the United States. And yet, right now, we're in the midst of really a focus on the Republican candidates because the Iowa caucus is coming up. When you look at this is clearly going to be part of the discussions that they've mentioned, and they might go on attack.
100% they're going to go on attack. I can already see the Fox News panels that are already being set up. But forget about my former employer for a second. If you think about the messaging standpoint of this, first, the Secretary of Defense is, hospitalized. We wish him well, but kind of speaks to where is President Biden involved in all this, that he's not communicating with his Secretary of Defense. You've heard Nikki Haley say that a bunch in the debates. She keeps bringing this up. This attack, without the approval of Congress, another talking point that they can start to hammer home as they get through. I know we're going to talk about a little bit in the campaign trails and stuff like that, but these next 10 days are very pivotal. Yeah. January 24th, we're all going to wake up and be like, okay, now we know what's going to happen on the GOP side. It doesn't help that the president has these two wars. We're not involved in them militarily, but these two wars, these couple actions over the last couple of weeks, it's not helping. It's not helping. Joe, it's not helping.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Keep promoting the pod.
But seriously, on that point, I mean, we are going to know pretty soon in this month. We're not. Oh.
You don't think by January 24th?
I'm sorry. Yeah. It's shades of 2016. Having run against Donald Trump, all these people who are like, conventional wisdom says, I keep looking like, are you crazy? Have you paid attention when Donald Trump is in the race?
I think his point, though, is we're going to know the Iowa caucuses in New Hampshire.
But that's not the whole shebang. We're going to know, thank God, we'll probably be done with Ramaswamy.
Right,
I'll take that.
Oh, yes, yeah. Him saying that he's not going to be on the ballot in Colorado, I was like, my man, you're not making it to New Hampshire. Let's slow down. But the biggest thing is, in all seriousness, there was a Fox News poll December 18th. Would you caucus for Donald Trump? 83% said yes. 83%, Karen.
Wow.
I'm not a math major.
I feel you.
So if he wins Iowa, where DeSantis has spent $150 million, according to Nikki Haley yesterday, and you can go to DeSantisLives.com to check it all out. She spent all that money. She spent $15 million in December. He's putting all his chips in the basket, DeSantis, for Iowa. He doesn't win when he finishes in third, and Trump wins. Now we're going to go to New Hampshire. We're going to know by the 24th. I think we're going to know by the 24th.
Nikki Haley's doing better in New Hampshire, though, right? And she has, after that, South Carolina, which, of course, she was the governor of that state.
Well, so a couple of things, though. Let's just kind of pull out to the big table here. So you're right. With DeSantis, if he doesn't do well in Iowa, very hard to make a case to donors to continue to support him to keep it going. I think ultimately that was part of what Chris Christie was facing. Right. Nikki Haley, on the other hand, if she does well for second place in Iowa, does well in New Hampshire, I think the big question will be if Trump beats her in South Carolina, I think that's very problematic for her. At the same time, it does seem that she is galvanizing donor support. There's, been some. So I think what that means is she could try to stay in. Trump's trying to lock this thing up by Super Tuesday in March. He's done some things in California by working behind the scenes to change the rules so that it's winner take all instead of proportional. He's done some things in Nevada, working the rules to make it so that Ron DeSantis' super PAC couldn't. So he's kind of working. At the same time, we do still have these legal cases unfolding, and we don't yet know. And really, the Jack Smith case is going to be the one. We don't know what's going to come out of that and how we're going to feel about it, even in moderate voters and independent voters.
Well, that was the focus of Chris Christie's campaign in many respects. Those counts, those indictments, those criminal charges. He's now out of the race. Does him getting out of the race help Nikki Haley or DeSantis?
Well, I mean, we saw the CNN poll. John King posted it recently on his Instagram page. About 64% would say that they would vote for Nikki Haley. So I think clearly, I'm not going to do this math thing where it's 39% to 32 based on a poll. So he leaves. He's got 12 plus 2. Come on. I like...
Carry the one.
Right, carry the one. Hopefully they go to him. But the reason I think, and to push back a little bit on it, so we've got Iowa coming up. We're going to know how Republican voters feel in Iowa. We already know.
Evangelical voters.
Great point.
Just
Okay.
saying.
Now, New Hampshire, more moderate independents, libertarian, whatever they want to cloak it in word-wise. Then we got Nevada, then we got South Carolina. So we've got 4 pivotal points. I think by January 27th, I think we will truly know that Donald Trump will clearly run away with this, or Donald Trump's got some competition, and it's in the form of Nikki Haley. And I think that's going to play better for her for South Carolina. If you remember, John Kasich won Ohio. Oh. Right. I know. I don't want to bring up John Kasich. But,
I'm just saying.
You had folks that were representatives of those states or governors of those states. They won those states. So you
facing multiple criminal indictments for, trying to overthrow the government. Just saying.
I agree.
America, you're welcome for the espresso martini. That was Karen Finney and Mike on tonight. Did you enjoy that nightcap? That was wonderful. I agree. You're welcome. Yeah.